Hello and welcome to HMS TechTalks. It's a bit dark in here, isn't it? Yeah, much better. Lighting in a building is one of the things that we take for granted, but it's a very important part of how we experience the building and also one of the main energy consumers in a building. Therefore, it's very important that we have smart lighting in a building, not only to give the users a good experience, but also to decrease energy. To do that, we need communication, and HMS is one of the key players when it comes to communication inside a building, especially through our Intesis brand. And we have Ignacio Garcia Sanchez with us from our Intesis team here to talk about lighting in buildings. Welcome, Ignacio.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right. And as all good lighting designers, we both decided to wear black turtlenecks today.
Yeah, I think it looks really nice.
Absorbing the light.
Absorbing the light.
Exactly. So firstly, what is smart lighting?
Yeah, I would say smart lighting is the combination of elements that we add to the traditional lighting to add communication, to add energy savings, or to add ways to interact with the users that are using the space.
Right, because switching off and on a light is something that we've done for almost 200 years now.
Right, is just turning on and off the light is quite a really old technology that we still have in our houses. But think about the way that we are controlling that light now. We are using voice commands. We are using apps to dim it up and down. We are adding sensors and gateways. We basically make it smarter.
Right. Looking at smart homes, lighting is of course is a very important part of that. But what are the trends that we see from our experience in the Intesis brand with lighting and lighting control?
There are some quite common trends that we start seeing in our homes and houses. That is to use this voice assistant to control our lighting. But there are other very interesting trends in the market, like indoor positioning, being able to use the light, modify the frequency in that light, thanks to our phones, to position ourselves in the building and navigate just like a GPS indoors.
Right. What are the uses for that?
You could think about many uses. For example, if you will go to a supermarket, and in that supermarket you will have your shopping list in an app. You will have your shopping list in an app, the supermarket app knows where these items are located within the supermarket.
Oh, by telling the lighting.
It will locate you inside of the supermarket, and it will navigate you through the aisles of the supermarket to know exactly where they are placed, all these items that you want to purchase.
Right, yeah, very, very smart lighting indeed. Energy savings we talked about also is of course a key to any building now, since it is consuming so much energy in buildings. What can we do with the lighting there, and what are the savings that are possible?
Yeah, if we look at the average consumption in a building, 44% of the energy consumption goes to HVAC.
Right.
We know that from Intesis experience, but also 28% of that energy consumption is used for lighting.
Fourth, yeah.
And we can use many strategies to make sure that we can reduce that energy consumption. One of the easiest way to reduce that is just to change the energy source, the lighting source. If we change from traditional lighting to LED lighting, right, we could save up to 60% of that energy consumption.
Right. What other strategies are there to kind of reduce energy consumption when it comes to lighting?
There are several of them, and for example, if we use daylight harvesting.
Okay, what's that?
Daylight harvesting is to use the natural light that comes from outside of the building through the windows, and use that light to basically light up the space without the need of using the electrical lighting. So if we combine the system, we can measure how much light do we need in space, and we can dim the lights of the indoor lighting to match that required lighting.
Okay, so the more sunlight outside, the less light you need inside the building, of course.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if we combine that with other strategies like turning on and off the lights through sensors and presence, or we use schedules to the building, so we can make sure that all the lights are off when there's out of business hours, we can save much more.
Right, because 28% of a building consumption, that is quite a lot. Yeah.
Exactly.
When it comes to the communication, which is our expertise, of course, what are the different protocols that are used specifically for lighting inside a building?
Specifically for lighting, there are only a few of them. We have 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 protocol. Then we have DMX or DMX RDM, and then we have DALI. One of the most used protocols in commercial buildings, for example.
Right.
But then we have wireless protocols like Zigbee, Z-Wave, Bluetooth Low Energy, protocols that are also used for these applications that we have in our house for smart lighting.
Right, and all these need to communicate, of course, in order to enable this smart lighting. Right, and that's what we do with the Intesis gateways. So, why is Intesis gateways such a good choice for lighting?
Yeah, when we looked at the lighting industry, we always need to understand what are the problems of the lighting industry community, which is sometimes different to what the building automation industry requires. And that's why we are part of associations like the DALI Association, like the DIA Association, to understand what are the needs of the market there and how can we use the protocol, the DALI protocol, to match the requirements of the market. And by doing that, we have DALI gateways that will translate and communicate with DALI lighting networks and translate that to standards in the building automation industry, like Modbus, BACnet, or KNX.
Right, because there are specific requirements when it comes to lighting, because there are lighting designers, and you need to kind of understand how they think in order to do this conversion, right?
Exactly. It's an industry that is motivated by different factors than perhaps just the control and the optimization of energy and so on. This community requires interaction with light in a very different ways. You play with emotions, you play with colors, you use specific light effects to motivate, to improve well-being, to make sure that you have more happy and productive workers inside of the building. So light can be used to affect people in many different ways, way more than we are used to.
Right, and in order to convert the data, you need to kind of understand how this lighting community and these light designers think as well. Yeah.
Exactly. We need to enable specific commands or specific parameters in the protocol, so we can give all the flexibility for those specific data points to the system integrators and the building automation systems to enable that controls strategy and definitions that the lighting designers and lighting community requires.
Right. Right. Thanks very much for talking to us, Ignacio, about this very interesting subject. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me.